Welcome to the 20th episode of the Three Sportsmen podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kurt.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Trey.
And in this week's episode, we have a lot of news. We're going to be talking about the NBA boycotts. We're going to be playing Pick a Player again, talking about some trades as well in both the NFL and the MLB. But before we get started, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the podcast, check out our other episodes, and follow us on social media, on Twitter.
At podcast T3S.
And on Instagram.
At T3S Podcast.
We really appreciate any support. So let's get started with this week's episode, talking about probably the biggest sports news that we've had in a while this year. NBA boycotts. It was a huge moment in sports. Now, honestly, it was crazy to see how much power the players truly have. And the fact, like, they've had the power for a while, but to see them use it in this way, it was just something I personally didn't expect to see. Like, if you told me a week ago that the players were going to have a boycott, I wouldn't believe you, if I'm being honest. But I'm very happy to see the players stand up for what they believe in and use their power because they have a lot. Sam, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's stupid. Because it's not, like, you can talk. Like, you're allowed to, like, you're allowed to protest and stuff like that, but don't boycott your actual games. Like it's your job. Like, it's your job to play. You've already lost enough time from the COVID, whatever. Like, you already lost time from that. Like, you gotta get this shit done. Like, you gotta get the games done, stuff like that.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I personally feel like boycotting was really one of the only ways that they would be heard at this point, because they put social justice statements on their jerseys on the court, and that did a little bit.
Basketball under me. I was kind of understanding a little bit more of basketball than I was. The MLB, the Astros and Athletics, they boycotted on Jackie Robinson Day. Like, come on, really?
That's kind of contradicting.
Yeah, that may not be the best choice in terms of the day.
Like, boycott the next day. Don't boycott during Jackie Robinson. Like, so Jackie Robinson's daughter tweeted at Tim Anderson the other day and was like, "We're so glad that all you guys are playing for his name," and how, and all that stuff along the lines of that. And it's kind of like,
were they the only team to do so?
Yeah, the Astros and Athletics, I believe.
That was the only game to do so that day.
Well, on that day, the day before, there were more.
I know the Mets did. I know the Mets walked off.
Let me check to make sure.
I think it was Mets and Marlins, I think, or something like that.
I remember seeing a thing about the Mets.
Because I think they put I don't even know.
I feel like
it was the only one. The other ones were due to rain.
Yeah.
That was the only one that was a boycott.
Okay. Then in that case, I feel like maybe it wasn't the best day to do it. I still think, like, if the players choose not to play and, like, consciously know that, like, it is Jackie Robinson Day, like, I feel like they probably knew.
And Trey. Guess who hit a home run?
Who's that?
He's on the Braves.
Is it your guy?
Your boy.
It's one of them. One of them hit a home run.
Dansby.
It was Dansby.
All right.
Sam's overhyping him.
No, I'm not. He's a great player. I'm telling you. He's going to be an all-star.
Well, back to the NBA. I feel like everyone was looking at the NBA on Wednesday. It made national news from broadcasts that are usually never sports related.
Well, they led it. I mean, they were the first ones.
They were the first ones. And I feel like given the current situation. I remember hearing back on Tuesday that the Raptors and Celtics were expected to boycott, or at least they were considering it at the time for game one, which at the time was scheduled for Thursday. I think seeing Milwaukee take the initiative and take everyone by surprise and do it, given what happened and given how close
I don't remember who
events
said
are
this
to their
quote.
community.
I don't remember who said this quote, but he said, "There's more things important than basketball." How? It's your job. Like basketball
I
is
think
your
they mean
job.
like in the scheme of the world.
Like, yeah, I
Like
get
basketball
it.
is not the most important thing in the world.
Should be to them, anyways. It's their job to do it, and they get paid millions of dollars a year to do it. So, if you want to get paid millions of dollars to stand up for what's right, and go become a politician or civil rights activist.
Well, people note my personal opinion on it, because I've heard a lot of people say that like because of their job, they shouldn't be protesting because other jobs you don't have the opportunity to do that. Professional athletes have a platform that not many other groups really have. They're up there with actors, actresses, social media influencers in some cases, prominent politicians. There aren't a lot of people who are as influential on society as professional athletes.
I'm very.
And for example, like another prominent group, another prominent profession, where if they were to strike or boycott and we would notice, I'm just going to use doctors as an example. If they were to strike or boycott, people would notice. I think we can all agree on that. But people would get hurt. Like harm would be done because they are not treating patients. NBA players and other professional athletes protesting, people are going to notice because of how prominent some of them are in society. But is anyone really getting hurt by NBA games not being on? Yeah, you're going to lose some entertainment for the night as just a regular person, but I don't see anyone really getting hurt by it like normal people. Trey, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm in between. I mean, I can see their message, but I don't know. I feel like there could be other ways to do it, but I respect their decision because it's their right.
Any final thoughts?
Oh,
No, I don't got.
All right. So we're going to move on. It's time for our weekly segment, Pick a Player, in which we will provide the stats of two athletes and then decide who's better and then find out who they are. So this week, you're going to be talking about some NFL players. We're going to be talking more specifically about two cornerbacks.
Jair Alexander's top 5 in the league. Just putting it out there.
Oh, that's
Wow,
a hot
biased.
take. Okay, so who else is top 5 then, real quick, while I'm sending
I
this?
mean, I'd probably say Gilmore,
Gilmore's 1.
White,
Trey White's 2.
White. Well, I mean, if Jair Alexander's top 5, he's 5. That's what I'm putting him at 5. That's all I have to say. Full bias.
I can tell.
Yeah, definitely.
He's best corner in the division.
I mean, Slay left, and the Vikings rookies are unproven. Fuller is not as good as he was a few years ago, so.
But I can give you this. It's tough. I mean, best safety in the division.
Best safety in the division?
It's Harrison
That's a tougher
Smith's
one.
He's
I think
starting
it's
to get
Harrison Smith.
older. I mean, he's starting to get older.
Yeah, he's still really good.
Eddie Jackson's going to take that spot very soon.
I think he
I
could.
like that. He's 2 right now.
Amos is 3.
Where's Harris then?
4.
I think I mean, he was great last year. I think he needs another year to prove himself as a truly elite safety. But if we're going off of just 1 year, I think, like, if we're just going off of last year, he's the best safety in the division. But as a whole, looking at their careers, he's not. All right, so I sent the stats of each player. We're going back to pick a player right now. These are both cornerbacks.
Yannick or Kenny Clark?
They play different positions.
So they
I don't think you can compare a D lineman to
nose tackle. That's fair, but
looking at these players' stats.
Here, real quick. I was on Twitter today, and this Packers fan account was like, Kenny Clark's the best defensive tackle in the league. I'm like, shut the up. Please shut the up. Don't ever say that again.
Aaron Donald?
That's what I said. Did Aaron Donald die or something? Like, there are – I think this goes for every organization. There are the smart fans, and then there are the way too true – like, they're true to their team, but they're idiot fans.
Blind loyalty.
Exactly.
All right.
That's in every fan base.
There are fans who ruin kind of every fan base. It just varies within each. All right.
I think it's more in baseball, though. But
looking at these players' stats, player A last year, we're only looking at last year's stats. They were targeted 48 times. 30 of those passes were completed for a completion percentage allowed of 62.5%. They allowed 393 total yards, averaging 13.1 yards per completion, 4 touchdowns, and missed tackle percentage of 8.6. Got all that?
I got it.
Player B, last year, 15 games. Oh, and keep in mind, last season, player A, I forgot to mention this, 16 games, 2 interceptions. Player B, 15 games, 1 interception.
I don't know very many cornerback stats, so
74 times targeted. 37 of those were completed for a completion percentage allowed of 50%. 491 yards receiving were allowed. They did not allow any touchdowns and missed 9% of their tackles. Who are you taking?
I'm taking player B.
Yeah, same.
His completion percentage is a lot lower.
And the touchdown allowed.
It's probably somebody on the Vikings.
It's not.
Better not be.
No, think about our corners last year. Rhodes was horrible. Trey Waynes was average.
Rhodes wide open.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest pictures Kurt sent me ever. That was
Sad but true.
Funny.
However, player A used to play. He's a former NFC North player.
Darius
former
Slay,
Packers player.
Oh.
If you want to make your guesses now.
Come on, Sam. This should be easy for you as a Packer fan.
When did he play? When did he last play in a Packers uniform?
Last in a Packers uniform? Last year in a Packers uniform was 2015.
Oh,
Any guesses?
I'm trying to think.
Is one of them Casey Hayward?
Player A is Casey Hayward.
Yep.
Currently
Sam.
on the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm a real fan. That's why.
Player B is one of the best corners you've probably never really heard about. Or at least you've never heard of them in like big sports media.
Marlon Humphrey.
You got the division right.
Tre'Davious White.
Different division. That's AFC East versus AFC North.
All right, I'm done. I'm gonna stop talking now. I don't
Cleveland,
know football anymore.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore in that division.
Marcus Peters.
Still not correct. Trey, any guesses?
I have zero clue, to be honest with you.
Jalen Ramsey.
He's in the NFC.
He also said these aren't big names either.
This guy isn't a big
Charles
name.
Woodson.
He's retired.
Chris Conti.
Did he even play corner? I thought he was a
That guy.
safety. I thought he was a safety.
I don't care what he was. He sucks.
Player B. Are you ready for the reveal, Sam, or do you want one last guess?
Sure, I'll take one more guess.
He doesn't know.
I'll give you the team. It's Pittsburgh.
Joe Hayden.
It's the guy across from him, Steven Nelson.
Oh, wait, I think I know who it is. I think I know who it is.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber.
Goat.
Nope. Eloy's better.
That's the wrong sport. That's the
Eloy's
wrong
wrong
sport.
Eloy's better.
I mean, Schwarber can catch a ball. Just putting it out there.
Shut up. Leave me alone.
We'll get to some more MLB talk a bit later. Steven Nelson, one of the most underrated corners in the league, started off with Kansas City.
What does
Then played in Pittsburgh last year. Great beside Joe Hayden, covering up the others half the field.
Minka Fitzpatrick?
Minka's great.
I love Minka.
Honestly, I love seeing Pittsburgh use him the way that they are because
That he deserves to.
I mean, I like Brian Flores as a coach in Miami, but they weren't really going to do anything with him for a couple of years. They weren't going to compete. I think Pittsburgh could be a wild card team this year.
They always are in the hunt for that.
With Roethlisberger coming back, I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to prime Roethlisberger, obviously.
Big Ben.
But
What a goat.
Tiny Ben.
also, I think if he's healthy, that run game is going to have a lot less pressure on it. James Conner, he was a monster a couple years
Juju's
ago.
better than AB.
He is a monster.
And your guy's in that receiving core, Sam Chase Claypool.
Love Chase Claypool. That guy's insane.
He's gotten a lot of good buzz in camp.
He's so good. They got a steal in the second round.
Was he a second round pick or I didn't think he was a second.
I think he was a second round pick.
I'm looking it up right now.
Wherever he went, they got a steal. They got a real steal. Like that.
He was
That kid knows how to play football. He was insane.
I thought he was second round, wasn't he?
He was insane watching.
end of the
when I-
second.
when I
Yeah, he was
playing with him
middle end of second round.
Notre Dame.
He was
Isn't he
round
huge?
2. Yeah, he's
Like, isn't he
huge.
really big?
He's 6'4".
Yeah, he's 6'4". But I mean, Mike Evans is like 6'5", right?
I think so.
Who's the tallest receiver in the league right now?
I'm looking up tallest NFL players.
Calvin
Right now.
Johnson will probably pop up there.
Who?
Calvin Johnson.
Megatron.
For all time or
No, just in the league right now. It might be Mike Evans.
Joe Flacco is 6'6". Jimmy Graham is 6'7".
Well, he's a tight end.
DeMar Dotson. Wait, are we going all positions? Because
Just
otherwise
receiver,
it'd be a tackle.
Receiver.
Receivers, Evans is 6'5", AJ Green is 6'4", Mike Williams is 6'4".
That's what I
Huh.
thought. Yeah, I thought.
So he's up there.
And then for cornerback, it is Richard Sherman and Kevin King. Both are 6'3".
Hey, I know Kevin
Wow.
King.
I mean, he's pretty good. He's solid.
He is solid. Had 5 interceptions last year.
He's a good number 2 guy to have.
He's the
across
good
from
number 2 guy. That's fair.
Alexander.
I love Jair Alexander, dude. John Money. Did you see the grill that he got? He dropped like $500K on a grill.
I didn't see that.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, good God, dude. He just looks like the type of guy that drops like a shit ton of money on jewelry. It's hilarious. All right, just quick shout out to Jamal Murray. Guy's
What's he doing?
insane.
I haven't seen anything from that game.
He dropped 50.
Oh
Nuggets
wow.
forced game 7. Damn.
Yeah, they just forced Game 7 and Jamal Murray dropped 50.
Wow.
Playoff P.
That's your guy.
If I had to take a guy on that team, it would probably be Lou Williams. I love Lou Williams.
There's only one answer. It's Kawhi Leonard.
Or Lemon Pepper Lou. That's my guy. No
Former
fucking
Raptor.
way. Yes! Let's go. The Islanders beat the Flyers today, and I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hyping up the Islanders for a very, very long time. Obviously,
How long is a very long time?
like 7 years. Not as
Back
long
when
as
they had a. Am I thinking correctly? I don't know.
not as long as the Hawks though. I'll always hype up the Hawks. Because I love the Hawks.
So you were hyping them up back when they had Tavares.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, you're riding that hype train. You've been on it for a while then.
They have been riding that hype train for a while. They play Islanders hockey. I don't know. I can't watch a whole Islanders hockey game. It's so boring. Like they play such a boring style of play. It's insane. Like
But they win though sometimes.
I love exactly. That's why the NHL calls it Islanders hockey. They call it Islanders hockey. Like they have so many guys that'll just wear you down.
It's like the Patriot way of the NHL.
Kind of, yeah. It's so boring, dude.
Why is it boring? What do they do?
What do they do?
They create like a wall in the neutral zone. Like you cannot get through the neutral zone on them. Their defense is so stout. Like it's insane.
Might have to watch some Islanders hockey now.
Yes, you do.
I have the time.
It's really, really good hockey. I mean, it's boring, but it's good hockey. I mean, and then like people will say, "Oh, they've got nobody flashy on that team. Look out for number 13."
You don't
Matthew
necessarily
Barzal.
need anyone flashy if you're winning. Winning comes
in the
before
NHL.
being flashy.
You need somebody like, I mean, if you look at all the teams that are left right now, all of them have one star at least.
And that's fair. Obviously, stars are going to help you
Exactly. Well,
for the most part. For the most part. Can't just have like 2 stars and then everyone else is pretty bad.
No, they got Couturier. Yeah, that's fine.
But
That's fine. Giroux. I'm stupid. They've got Claude Giroux. He's a star.
I mean, it goes for any sport. You can't really like obviously if you're good enough, you can win a championship if you have like one amazing player or 2 amazing players, and then everyone else is just eh.
Also, a team to watch out for in the near future: Colorado Avalanche. Oh my
Been hyping them
god!
up on the podcast.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for that team because I mean I don't hate the Avalanche, but I mean I kind of have to have a little bit of hate for them because they're in the Central Division. But
Yeah, you're a Hawks fan. So.
Holy crap! Like, obviously Joe Sakic doesn't listen to this because he's got a bunch of other to do. But props to him, man! Holy cow! Like what he's like the pieces that he's added on that team. Like with some guys that are still coming in, Cale Makar. Oh my god, like that kid, he's insane. That whole team's insane.
You know what else is insane that we haven't really touched on too much yet?
What?
Yannick Ngakoue
I was trying to get away from that.
traded to the Vikings for second-round pick and a conditional 5th-round pick that goes up to a 4th if he makes the Pro Bowl, and a 3rd if he makes the Pro Bowl and the Vikings win the Super Bowl. All right, so Trey, let's get your thoughts on the Ngakoue trade first. I saw a very interesting number on Twitter this morning. It said that the Vikings this year are getting Daniil Hunter and Yannick Ngakoue for less money than the Bears are paying Khalil Mack this season.
I don't really care. I love Khalil Mack.
I know you're a big
I'm
Khalil
more
Mack
interested for the Vikings. What are they going to do with Cook and the new addition? Are they going to have enough? money.
Next season?
Yeah.
Well, next season is when we're going to need to go full on, just magic with the cap.
'Cause you guys got to pay a lot of people, don't you?
I think, yeah, we're going to need to get Ngakoue, which I don't think we would make this trade if Ngakoue wasn't in our long-term plans. And especially considering the other guys who Minnesota needs to pay. We've got Dalvin Cook, got Anthony Harris. They're the two big names.
Do they still need to get paid? Both of them?
They're both on the final year of their contract. Harris is on a 1-year deal. Dalvin Cook is entering the final year of his rookie contract. I think Ngakoue is the priority. I wouldn't be surprised if we let Harris walk, considering he's close to 30. And
Anthony
we could
Harris
easily
is
draft.
30.
He's almost 30. He's 29 right now. By the time
What
he
the
becomes a free
hell?
agent, he'll be 30.
I
Yeah,
thought he was younger.
I thought he was too.
because he hasn't been a big name for most of his career. And I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota goes after a safety in the draft instead. I could see a guy like Javon Holland from Oregon potentially falling to Minnesota. Maybe even Paris Ford from Pitt. I like both of them as prospects. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cook isn't willing to go for 10 mil or less. I think he's going to be gone.
Oh, he's going to be gone then. He's worth a lot of money.
Yes, he is. So is this
How much would
chain.
you be willing to pay Dalvin Cook?
$5.
If you were a
I don't know if
GM,
I would pay. I don't
you
know
were
if
a
I would
GM,
pay him a ton
if you were a
because
GM, how much would you give Dalvin Cook?
I'd ask him if he would take 9 mil, if he'd take it or leave it. I mean, considering I don't know how to run a football organization, but I mean, just being honest.
it's just the running back so deep and it's so replaceable.
It is, especially with the Kubiak scheme.
But he's elite. That's the thing. He's a different
When
kind
he's
of running
healthy.
back.
When he's healthy, and that's a big asterisk.
I'm elite in Rocket League.
Yep.
Yeah, you think you're elite.
XAM.
It's Cap.
But I'm really excited to see Ngakoue and Hunter on that defensive line. It's going to be crazy good. And Ngakoue hasn't had a coach like Mike Zimmer on defense. He hasn't had a guy like Andre Patterson as his position coach. Or is Andre
Because
Patterson?
Andre Patterson.
Is Andre Patterson our position coach? Or
I don't even know who the hell the Packers position coach is.
no, Andre Patterson is our defensive coordinator, not our position coach. But he's a great defensive coordinator for the Vikings.
Clark Lee. Goated.
I'm excited for this trade though. I think it could be really good. And speaking of trades, we don't have a lot of time left in this episode, but a 7-player deal was made earlier today, Sunday, when we're recording this.
Putting out there rip the
Padres.
Cubs.
Trey, what are your thoughts on Padres moves?
I liked him, but the one with Seattle, Taylor Trammell, he's going to be an absolute stud. I was surprised they gave him up. Seattle's getting a really good player. But, I mean, they're going all in.
Pair of Kyle
Rosenthal,
Lewis.
all of them. They're going for it. They have a shot, too, with Tatis going off.
I mean, he's playing amazing baseball.
Hasn't hit a home run in like 3 weeks, though. That's the problem.
Tatis? Or
That's Cap.
Tatis. Oh, he hasn't. Or maybe not 3 weeks. It's been a little bit less, but he
It
hasn't
hasn't
hit a
been
home
3
run.
weeks.
I don't think
He
it's
hit a home
it's not-
run
he
like
hasn't
last
been
week.
3 weeks. And I think
don't know.
it was 2 weeks ago where he had the grand slam that everyone was going crazy over unwritten rules about,
Yeah,
right?
I think it was
Which
last
that was
week.
If it's
Was.
unwritten, then it's not a rule.
There were a few minor moves made with the Cubs and Sox. Sam, let's start off. What do you think of the Sox minor moves real quick?
Gerard Dyson. And we got Gerard Dyson from the Pittsburgh Pirates for international trade cash, but which is basically frequent flyer miles. I mean, good pickup, speedster, good on the base path, good in the field. I'll take it. Some veteran presence in the outfield. Maybe you can teach Eloy a thing or two.
When do you think your window is going to be? Because you've been hyping up the Sox for a while, but I don't necessarily think they're there yet.
Our window is slowly starting to creep open this year. If we can stay a hold in the first place of the AL Central, there's a chance, but it's a very, very small chance. I don't think I don't think anybody's beating the Dodgers, just being honest with you.
But I mean, they do choke in the playoffs every year.
They do choke, yeah. Speaking of the Dodgers, Trey, you and I were on Twitter today, and we saw that that one trade. Derek, it was May.
And Lux.
It was May and Lux for Josh Hader. That is.
I know it is.
Just a proposal, or
It was a fan. It was a comment.
Yeah, it was a stupid Twitter comment.
It's May. He's a stud pitcher. That's 22. Lux. Yeah. He's going to be a beast hitter. I mean, Hader's under control for 4 years, though.
If you want a guy who's locked in for a couple more seasons.
But I don't see Hader moving.
Yeah. Trey, any quick thoughts on the Cubs and the moves that they made before the deadline?
They made a trade with the Rays for Jose Martinez, who's an absolute lefty masher. He's hit 320 against them in his career. And the Cubs are hitting 210 against lefties this year, so it's a good fit. And I mean, it's 2 players to be named later, so it depends on what we give up.
Interesting.
But I like it overall. But we need that little boost.
What if you guys give up Bodie?
No, it's not Bodie. When it's player to be named later this year, it's who's not in the player pool, 60-man.
I mean, I don't think you'd give up a bigger name and it wouldn't get out.
David
Bodie, like, he's hitting really well this year.
Yeah.
Every Bodie in.
Yeah.
It's us.
It's a quality pun right there.
It's not.
Good player.
Freya, what are your expectations for the Cubs right now this season?
They're kind of struggling. I think they'll win the division, though, because the NL Central's been down this year. They need to get the offense to be more consistent, and the bullpen needs to learn how to throw strikes.
You Darvish the past couple of games.
He's a Cy Young candidate.
He's kind of looking like he did in the last couple of years on the Dodgers.
Yeah, he is. He's second in ERA, tied for most in wins. It's right there. People sleep.
Yeah. All right. So those were our thoughts on the NBA boycotts. We played Pick a Player, talked about the Yannick Ngakoue trade, and a little bit of the MLB trade deadline as well. So we really appreciate any support on the podcast. So feel free to like, comment your thoughts about what we said in the podcast down in the comments below, and give us any topics that you'd like to see us discuss in future episodes of the Three Sportsmen. And of course, subscribe to the channel and listen to our other episodes as well. Remember that the Three Sportsmen is a weekly podcast, so be sure to tune in next week. And remember, trust the podcast.